What's up, y'all? Good morning, good morning. It's not working. Lego. Let's try that again. Hello, hello. What's up, y'all? How's everyone doing this morning? Can y'all hear me? What's up, Jay? What's up, Bottle? How's everyone doing this morning? Morning, morning. Hell yeah, we are, Brown. Power was out all day yesterday. No idea what the markets did. Here you go. There's your SPY for the morning. There's yesterday for SPY. All right. So, decent down day for the markets overall. Yeah. That being said, the stock market, okay, small cap in general, choppy, a little bit unpredictable, okay, but fruitful. December's been fruitful. We've had different sectors popping off. Let's get straight to it right now, okay. First of all, we've got overall markets gapping up, right? Big red day yesterday, just across the indices, okay. Um, CPI softer than expected, okay. CPI came in cooler than expected. So futures are up, Dow futures are up, S&P futures are up, Nasdaq futures are up. Um, so basically less inflation, right? $2.7 versus the expected 3.1. Core CPI 2.6% versus the 3% expected. Jobless claims basically in line. So that's big picture stuff. What else? AMCI would be the biggest runner this week. No? Was it AMCI? Sorry, that's not the correct ticker, actually. Or is it? It is, actually. Sorry. That's this week on AMCI so far. Okay, went from the 2s all the way to the 15s. It's a Panther, right? Why is there no free chat in Discord anymore? We actually got rid of the Discord altogether. We moved formats. We're having a lot of issues with Discord, so we have a much better format now. We'll get you guys all the information that you guys need over the coming weeks, though. I'm going to be live 3 times a week on YouTube for pre-market prep going forward. Okay, only if you smash the like, though. Only if you smash that like right now. Okay, let's get into this morning's tickers first. AMCI was a robotic stock. Let's get into the sectors. Okay, we've got Tilray first off. Little multi-day breakout this week so far. Gapping up for now. Okay, Tilray for me. Who doesn't know what sector momentum is here? Speak up. Use the chat. Who doesn't know what sector momentum is? Well, if you don't, essentially, we have a bunch of tickers in the same sector that are moving together. They move up together, they move down together. Okay? Tilray, generally speaking, if you go back in history, and this through my experience over the last 10 years, Tilray, when the weed stocks run, is the head of the snake. What do I mean by the head of the snake? We talk about if you chop the head of the snake off, all the rest of the snake dies. Same thing here, right? So essentially, we've got Tilray making this move. As long as this continues to gap and move upwards, you're going to see, you should see tickers like CGC move upwards. Look at the daily charts here. This is what's important. Watch. Let me unlink these so I can paint a picture for you. There's CGC's daily. Here's Tilray's daily. Okay. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4-day move. 1, 2, 3, 4-day move. Look at ACB. Y'all see that? Yes or no? Yes or no, chat? The only that is the problem that and Cohen, great point. Point I was going to make about this sector is that all of our leaders, generally speaking, have higher floats, and they're going to move a little bit differently due to those float sizes. But you can absolutely see, okay, you can absolutely see. Here's Tilray, again, head of the snake. Here's CGC. Here's ACB. This is what sector momentum looks like. I have made sector momentum made my career early on. Okay, the fact that I was able to play tickers off of a leader early on was something that was mind-blowing. Okay, and the best part about this is that they don't move exactly in unison. Let's go to their 30-minute charts. Okay, here's their 30-minute charts. They don't move exactly in unison. Okay. Look, 3 different intraday charts, 3 very, very similar daily charts. Understood? So the point is that I'm able to use the leader. And if Tilray goes nuts or is gapping or does certain things, I'm then able to play off the leader. Weed sector is not my favorite, but that is the same principle across all sectors. Okay. Only trade for me so far this week's been iRobot. Bankruptcy bounce, which we've had 3 of this week, and we have 3. We're going to get into those really fast. We only have 10 minutes till market open. Okay. Again, we're going to be doing this 3 times a week, so make sure that you are present and stopping by here. Okay. So that's what's going on right now in the weed sector. We do have a macro. That macro is that Trump is talking about rescheduling marijuana. Okay. From basically like crack to something less than crack. All right. Let's get into this morning's tickers quickly. So that's what's going on. You got Tilray, you got CGC, you got ACB. Those are generally speaking the 3 most stable leaders. What makes me say it's the leader? Experience. Experience over time. And I'll show you exactly when I established it as a leader. Actually, really fast, so you understand that as well. Here's 5-minute charts of all. Let's go back to the first day of the move. And what's the first day of the move? It's the first day of the move with volume, which is right here. Okay? This day. Understood? This is day 1 where everyone's like, oh, you might be rescheduling weed. So there's a macro. There's a reason for volume to come in on Tilray here. Okay? After hours. That's when the news came out. Okay? So there's after hours Tilray. There's Tilray. And then if I go to CGC, same time frame, you can't see it here on this chart. Sorry. But if you go back and watch it today, watch the tickers today. Tilray went first, CGC, ACB. Here are the other ones quickly so we can do that so that you guys have that. KITT. Okay. These are the ones that I'm focusing on, are more the small cap and some of the lower float ones if possible. This was the move on KITT that day that Tilray went. This right here, see this? This didn't pop off until Tilray started running that day. When Tilray started running that day, this is what happened. And it lags. That's the beautiful part of sector momentum. You don't have to be in front of it. As long as the main one's running, you can hit the ones that are lagging. Does that make sense? Okay. And if you go back in time, this is how I know, because people ask, how do you know it's the head? Well, first of all, if I didn't know, here's how I would assume which the head of the snake is. Whichever one runs the most, the furthest, the first with the most volume. Okay? This is Tilray back in 18. This is when they established themselves to me as the leader. Okay? They've done splits since then. Here's their second run in 21, the bigger run in 21. Yep. All right. So it's just through experience of trading them here in 18, trading them in 2021, trading them over the last 10 fucking years, and this sector over the last 10 years. And it's not been the greatest sector for a while. Okay. But if Tilray runs, then this morning I'm going to be looking at YCBD, which is already gapping, I believe. Could be wrong. Yep. Here's YCBD. This has been the best of the simps for the smaller cap tickers. Look, this thing has gone from 60 cents to 250 so far, guys. Okay. ACAN. Pretty dilutive, nasty looking chart with the volume that's coming in. So they're not my favorite, but if the sector goes, this will go too at some point. We've got UGRO. Make sure you're smashing the like, y'all. I'm just going to hit you with all the stuff for free. I'm giving you sector watch lists here. Here's UGRO. Okay. Here's another one that's been popping off recently. We've got FLGCs and oldie, not really been catching heat so much. But again, these may. If the rest of the sector goes, we should catch a bid on some of these, okay? Anything, when I go to my scan that says cannabis on it, right, is a potential runner during this run for these stocks. All right? ACAN, their weed, Urban Grow, look, you grow. This is on my scan, guys. Their weed. On the top 10 too of my scan, which is light. Can we mention that? Understand that this market sucks right now quite a bit in terms of runners. There are some amazing runners, and then there's a lot of chop. Okay? So understand that this market that we're in right now, like here's UGRO. This is our second top percent gainer right now is actually UGRO. 9 mil in the float, it says. Could be wrong. Let me check DT really fast. What's DT? That's Dilution Tracker. That is the site that I personally use for just about everything in terms of fundamentals and DD and stuff like that. $9.63 in the float. So that's what we've got. We've got potential sector momentum here. We've got potential sector momentum here. All right. DJT's on the scan again. Old DWAC. Good old DWAC. Mother effers. I've never had more FOMO than this miss here when they IPO'd back in 2021. They're up for some reason this morning. I don't really trade DJT personally that much. They're gapping on merger news, M&A news there. Okay. Few more notes. Hey, no problem. I'm going to be here 3 days a week. Make sure that you're smashing that like for me. Maybe some eggplant emojis. Kind of hungry. Something purple. All right. Here's Laser. This is bankruptcy news. This is a BK bounce. One of my all-time favorite strategies. A very one that's hard for people to wrap their mind around, me at first included, like a bankrupt company. Why am I going to buy it? That doesn't make any sense. Well, Just watch every bankrupt company that you can find. Yeah. Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Here's Laser. They announced their bankruptcy a few days ago. Generally speaking, yesterday's the day that I start to look for it. I'm looking for this to go green. If this can go green, which it will at some point, this chart, look, pretty clean. Did go green the first day here. Tried to go green yesterday, couldn't. And right now is going to be opening up right around red green. If this goes green, there's a decent chance that you can get a good bounce on this, guys. It's called a bankruptcy bounce. I don't have too much time to actually explain the rest of the scenario, but essentially for me, it is a stock. They announced Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They liquidate, generally speaking, from a buck or lower. Generally speaking, they're going to go down towards 10 cents. Okay. Day 2 to day 3 is when I like to start thinking about looking for a base. What I need is a base. I don't really have a base on Laser as of now. Okay. No real base on Laser as of now. I usually like to watch like this first day low. As you can see, it started to base yesterday, but it didn't 2 days ago and instead broke down lows. So for me, the risk idea is actually right here at this point, maybe like 15 cents. But I need to see something different. Okay. It may take another day or two for Laser to pan out. But the idea is then at least 100% bounce. Oftentimes a bounce, an absolute gap fill all the way back to wherever that they gapped down from. Okay, here's your daily. Oftentimes this bounce, this bankruptcy bounce is explosive. Understood? And the idea is get great RR for me because of the nature of the range that the stock, that the BKs trade in post BK. I'm able to get less than 3 to 5 cents risk, guys, which is crazy when you're thinking about maybe 40 cents upside, 50 cents upside, $1 to $3 upside when these things squeeze. So we've got Laser, we've got iRobot, also announced Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I did 30K on the front side of iRobot. I did 30K on this front side of iRobot, trading it twice. Okay, trading the first, the day 1 gapper, selling it in the day 3 move, and then buying the first green day bounce here and selling it in the 5s and 6s. Also, another 1,500 yesterday. It wasn't spectacular trying the BK bounce here. What I have an issue with here is that it ran on a macro, which is Trump talking about robots and executive orders for robots, going into this BK. Okay. Do I think, Mike asked, do I think yesterday might not have been IRBT's actual BK bounce and maybe it's today? It's possible. Are they gapping up for now? It's possible I was too early. You know, it's part of being a contrarian and part of some of the strategies I trade is it's part of the nature. It's too early. But I'd rather be too early than too late, you know, sometimes. It is, we are gapping up, maybe. You know, it's not an exact science. Most of the time, the BKs for me bounce day 3, day 4. I've seen them bounce a little bit later. They will be delisted. So if you're someone who's just like getting in here, they were going to be delisted. Does someone have the date? Let the chat know. They're going to be delisted. You don't want to be there when they're delisted. Okay. So there's iRobot. There was one other one. Could someone remind me what our other one was? I'm always so early. It's so frustrating. I'm always early. It's so frustrating. That's something that if you're too early, then you must work on it. I'm always working on it. You know, I always assume not always, but when I'm trading sympathy plays, sector momentum at times, and I'm loading tickers that I believe volume is going to come into, I understand I'm going to be early on those. So it depends. ZYXY. Here's the other one. So we have 3 potential BK bounces this week. iRobot hasn't worked too great. So none of them have worked like textbook for now. If I was to say one looked textbook, this is more textbook looking to me in terms of the gap down. Okay. This is what is a little bit more typical looking. Announcing BK after hours. Yeah. Okay. So Here's your gap down ZYXI. They announced chapter 11. Let's get into this chart for you. I'll just show you the hourly chart first. Okay. There's BK news. Look, so they gapped down at that point, and I got to get going to my pack people here in a second and to chat. So they gapped down from here. I'm just going to teach you guys one of my favorite strategies ever, BK bounce, in 1 minute. The gap down got down to what? This 25-cent range. Okay, so I'm going to mark my levels. Okay, 1, 2, that's the post news gap down on day 1. They had a little bit of a push to 35 cents. They broke down the low of 26 cents, barely. Few pennies breakdown here. Okay, so this area is an area of interest for me at the moment. We are in day, and I'll show you quickly on the daily so you can see, and then we're going to wrap up. 1, 2, this is day 3. Today's, generally speaking, the day I want to see it hold this base, hold yesterday's low, maybe even day 1's low, not always. And then hopefully we'll go green going into tomorrow or this afternoon after hours. It will start to push hard. That would be, generally speaking, how I would like to see it work best. And then we get a retracement back up towards 67 cents, if not a full gap fill in this scenario. Okay? At which case, strategy's done. And from 20s to 60s, that's a 200% run. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Let me know in chat before we wrap up, because I'm dropping serious heat here. I've got one student, all right, Sebastian, France Pants in chat, shout out, who this strategy was the spark to his career. The one setup that he found edge in, was able to scale and make 6 figures doing. Okay? This one strategy last year. Now, how many bankruptcies do we get? Maybe once a month. This month, I think 3 or 4. Right? So it's not a strategy that is every day. Okay? But when it does, wait for day 2, 3 for it to base. Okay? Don't get in front of the thing. Let it shake out for a few days. Find the base, get great RR there, because it's not 100% of the time. They don't work. You're still trading a bankrupt stock that's about to delist. So it's not without danger. It's plenty of danger. They can put out weird news. There's bad things that can happen. Manage risk like with every other scenario. Okay? But at least now it's in your mind. I want you to see this. Just watch. See what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But when they do work, they go back. They basically fill the gap. And so I'm able to have conviction and settle into at least some shares. It doesn't mean you don't take profits. And in this case, if I'm looking at ZYXI, I'm taking profits probably into the 50-cent range. Not probably, likely. Probably into this 35-cent range. Yesterday's high on volume, 40, right? So in other words, same as always, I don't know that it's going to fill the gap. But it's a scenario where I think it's pretty likely that it would. So I want to root into patience on some shares. Does that make sense? And that's it. So context. There's ZYXI's context. IRBT didn't really do the thing as much yesterday, but look, it's still holding on. It has based. It is consolidating in the 70-cent range. They are going to delist at some point. But that's the kind of base I'm talking about. That's what got me excited to play it in the first place yesterday. We do have quite a bit of overhead. You could see in this case, and I do want you to just see really fast. That's the news on iRobot when they put their news out that they are going to go bankrupt. And then this is the post-BK trend, essentially. Right, of lower highs, lower lows since then. It did run into that low from day 1 and then had a pretty decent push yesterday. Now, I believe without all that other volume and without the bag holders that are here now, that we would have seen this potentially actually go to 250 or 3. I think if iRobot would have done a BK before their run, I think the BK would have caused the run anyway. So, beautiful. Okay. I just want you guys to see it. Few more things of note before we wrap up. We got a few splits this morning. PAVS split. I don't play splits on day one, ever. It's against my rules, okay? MNTS split. What I do is I add them to is add them to my reverse split watch list, which I'm doing right now. And I'll keep them on there until they either pump or dump. DFLI, oldie but goodie. Some of you made a lot of money trading this earlier this year. One of my better calls, actually, of 2025 was this move here. Now, they split today, but this went to 5 and beyond. Okay. Adding them to the list. Okay, adding them to the list. Let's check Tilray really fast before we jam out. Tilray pushing. Okay, Tilray pushing. Watch. Assuming CGC is pushing. Assuming ACB is pushing. Not rocket science. Sector momentum. Beautiful. And you know what? Really fast before I jam, just so we can illustrate one more time. And then I'm going to go, oops. Here's Tilray. Let's go to the 1 minute so you can see even better. Here's your 1 minute on CGC and your 1 minute on ACB. Right? You can see CGC was even kind of pulling too, but absolutely simping. Does this make sense? Yeah, absolutely smash the like if you learned something today. Let me know what topics you want me to cover. I'm going to teach you guys in the next month or so how I make watch lists, how I scan for stocks in the morning, how I find the most explosive stocks, how I know where to be next, how to find sympathy plays, how to develop your own playbook and process within small cap and stock trading in general. There's an art and a science to finding the stocks that are going to move next to the most explosive. And there are tons of strategies where you can have a lot of luck. None of them involve just chasing shit through high of day on intraday. We got new merch coming in 26. It's actually coming next week. Look. Now let's watch the simps real fast. Let's hit any of the simps. Look. There's Kit, right? Little bit of strength there, even with the dilution they have. YCBD's been the best of the small cap tickers, in my opinion. How do you figure out it's bankrupt? Do they release news? Great question. Great question, Rock. Here's what I do. It's so simple, actually, believe it or not. And I'm sure there might be a better way. But I go to my scan. I take off I have a scan with no filters. And then I'll just go like this. I do this every day. Okay. Every day at the end of the day, I go to my top percent losers. And I'll just fumble through these top percent losers and see if perhaps one of them has bankruptcy news. Okay. Like, for example, these guys, the first people, MGRT, not bankruptcy news or anything. Also, I happen to have all my students love this strategy. So it's one of those things where if there's a bankruptcy, everyone in my chat will know. That's essential. I mean, it's if I'm not finding it, someone will know about it, and everyone will know about it. That's just kind of how it works. But this is how I find it in the most basic. If it's just me. Okay. Sector Momo. Weird sector, bigger floats. Obviously has some strength to what's going on right now, though, based off volume and the move. Again, with sectors, just be careful not to chase strength. What I don't want to do is buy this strength right now. If I want to be part of Tilray in the first place, and I think the sector is going to keep going, I don't want to buy this. Okay? I don't want to buy this. Especially when you look at, just look. This is the last point. This is so important. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. That's universal. Buying breakouts and buying anything on my chart as a rule of thumb. Look at this chart. Y'all see this? Am I buying low today if I'm buying this? No, I'm just not. I'm actually buying top of range. I'm chasing. This doesn't mean it can't go to $30 or whatever. Okay. But it does mean at some point, I'm probably going to have to sit through a lot of pain to get there. And that's not the point of what we're trying to do here. Okay. So pattern recognition, just get this seared into your mind. Okay. Anytime I get to a chart and this is what it looks like, or when I was, the early part of my trading would have been characterized as this being the best fucking possible entry you could imagine on any chart, no matter what. I don't care what I was trading. This is what I was looking for. Intraday chart, perfect, right? SPY, breaking out, perfect. This is what I wanted, and I'm going to buy there. I'm going to chase it. Billy, that's who we call you. This is the 30-minute chart, and that's still the same principle. Watch. Right? So just super basic, okay? This is what I need. Anything other than chasing highs, but look at this. That's what I need. Something like that in nature. This is not a strategy, guys. This is price action ideas. This is support and resistance. This is buy low and sell high. This is buy weakness, sell strength. Okay, I look at these charts, the 30-minute, the daily, I don't care what chart, the minute, the 5-minute. I see buys and I see buys and I see buys and I see buys and I see sells and I see sells and I see sells and I see sells. And that's how I buy low and sell high. And I don't give a shit what anyone says in this whole fucking industry or what. This is how I do it. And this is what's worked for me for 8 years now specifically, because for 2 of them I was doing that other shit that didn't work. Okay. Does that make sense? Yes or no, chat? This is not an entry. This is an exit. Does that make sense? Yes or no, chat? Religiously. It's seared into me that I am supposed to be selling there, and I'm supposed to be getting good RR to that spot too, if I'm going to trade. So there's not much for me to do. There's not much for me to do. The art of buying low, selling high means I don't buy strength. I sell into strength, especially small cap, you guys. We're trading the worst tickers in the world. They go to 0, then they split, then they pump, and then they dump, and then they go to 0, and you are the pawn. You are the pawn. But before they go to 0, they go from 7 to 16. They go from 20 cents to $5. And you can get RR profiles unmatched with anything I've seen in any of the markets anywhere, period. I've not seen anything like it. Anyways. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to teach you guys the very basic principles. That's not rocket science. That's not rocket science. Okay? The hard part is that this is retrospect. You got to buy it over here somewhere, right? Now, let's get to my 30-minute chart. Let's go to my minute chart. Let's see what we got going on today. And this is what I mean. Even this, am I buying low right now on this chart if I'm going to buy it? No, I'm not. This is low. There's no support here. There's nothing for me. There's no risk. There's no good risk level. There's no good reward level. Okay? where we are now. I don't know where it's going to go. I know where it can go down to. I don't know where it's going to go up to. So look left. If you're way above whatever's to the left you're chasing, you have no edge up there. Someone like me is selling to you as you buy this. Understood? What's your best setup structure? Whatever's working. Like I say, there's no one best setup. My best setup from 2 years ago, I don't even get to trade anymore because it's not a thing, right? So, and that's something you also need to understand, you guys. There's no one setup you get to come just make money with every day. And that's going to be there forever, even. Okay? Setups are cyclical. Markets are cyclical. When everyone knows something's working, it stops working. And that's that really tough thing that you guys go through where you're trying setups because it worked. You've been seeing it work and everyone's making money from it, or people, and then you go to do it and it doesn't work. It's gone. Okay? Or it's not working for now. And you're trying something that is no longer fruitful. Okay? Think about fishing, right? Think about fishing. If I go to a fishing spot and everyone knows there's fish somewhere and now all the fishermen are there, we're going to fish it till all the fish are gone or till the fish move. Right? Now, if you show up after me and all my fishing buddies already destroyed this fishing hole, okay? There's nothing left for you but maybe scraps. Right? You got to learn how to find the fish early, go exploit them before all the other fishermen come and fuck up your spot, and then move on to the next one over and over and over again, right? Sometimes that fishing hole, you get to sit there for like a month and it keeps working and there's tons of fish and there's no one fucking with it. But sometimes you get there and everyone, it gets fucked up immediately. It's only there for a day. It's fleeting. So understand that. You're not trying to learn one strategy to rule them all. You're trying to build a playbook that works in any environment, that you can deploy certain strategies in certain environments. Okay. We do got to go. I'm going to catch you guys in chat. We will be here, like I said, 3 days a week. We're going to do Monday pre-market prep for you guys, and we're going to do Wednesday and Thursday pre-market prep for you guys, and then we're going to start dropping video lessons this week. Basic things, how I scan. I'm going to show you guys my trading setup here. All the things that I wanted to know when I started. I'll be giving you guys that stuff as well. Anything specific you guys want me to touch on before I go in terms of YouTube videos? I'm going to make them digestible, 5-10 minutes, some longer ones too, but I'm going to give you everything I can condensed like I always try to do without any bullshit. Yes or no? Let's check out our top percent gainers real quick while we're at it. All right, y'all. Much love. Everyone stay safe. Everyone stay safe, and we will catch you guys on Monday morning. Hell yeah. Love you guys. Everyone have an amazing day. Please smash that like if you got something from this. Make sure you're subscribed, and we will catch you guys for the next one.